Hello and welcome to Geeks and Ladles, part of the Virtually Anywhere series with the librarydistrict.org. On this show, we'd like to combine two of our favorite things, our favorite pop culture fandoms and food.
For each episode of this video series, we're going to choose a popular fandom-based cookbook, whether official or unofficial, that you can check out from the library district or easily purchase online. We're going to cook a sample recipe from the book, then we'll give you our honest review, not just of the recipe, but of the book as a whole, to find out what worked for us, or maybe what didn't work, and to help you when you try to make these recipes at home. Now that you know what you're in for, please enjoy this week's show. Oh, hello, and welcome to this week's review of The Elder Scrolls, the official cookbook by Chelsea Monroe Castle. This beautifully illustrated cookbook showcases custom recipes from the various lands of the Elder Scrolls video game series.
What's really nice about this book is that it's more than just a series of instructions. Each recipe represents one of the diverse cultures and their unique cuisines from the game. This book really brings to life the Elder Scrolls world through food. How cool is that?
Many of you viewers who are watching us today know that the Elder Scrolls series is a video game franchise whose story is told through a series of open-world role-playing games developed by Bethesda Game Studios. All the games in the series are set on the fictional continent of Tamriel, in a medieval-type setting. Tamriel is a land where magic exists and whose history, politics, and even the natural environments are as complex and diverse as any found in other high fantasy franchises like The Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones. The first game in the franchise, The Elder Scrolls Arena, was released in 1994 and followed by The Elder Scrolls II: Daggerfall in 1996. Then came the three most beloved games in the franchise, The Elder Scrolls III: Morrowind in 2002, The Elder Scrolls IV: Oblivion in 2006, and The Elder Scrolls V: Skyrim in 2011. At the time of the filming of this video, the world is still waiting for the release of the yet untitled Elder Scrolls VI, which was announced as being in development at the E3 video game conference in 2018. In the meantime, there have been several spin-off games released in the franchise, including The Elder Scrolls Blades and The Elder Scrolls Legends for mobile devices, and a massive multiplayer online game aptly named The Elder Scrolls Online, which was initially released in 2014, but continues to grow year after year, giving fans everything they want. As you can all imagine, the history and lore and story of this franchise is massive, and the fans of the game series are very devoted to it, and they love the characters and cultures of the game.
Hey Nivea, I found a recipe I want to try.
Okay.
One thing I love about browsing the recipes in this book is that each recipe has the difficulty level listed, so you have a good idea of the skill level and time commitment you need before you start the recipe.
Oh, I get it. It's just like lock picking. You don't want to try and pick master locks if you're a novice. You just end up with a bunch of broken lock picks. Only here, we could end up with a burnt dinner.
Luckily, this potato cheddar soup on page 97, it looks really good, and the difficulty rating doesn't look that hard. I think we should try it. According to the book, this hearty soup comes from the land of Skyrim.
Oh yeah, the potato soup from Skyrim. My Dragonborns cooked a ton of those. That'd be great. Let's go see how that turns out in real life.
Let's go.
All right. For this recipe, you will need 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter, 1 small onion, 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, 2 cups of chicken broth, 1/2 cup of whole milk, 3 or 4 medium russet potatoes, peeled and cubed, 1/2 cup of shredded cheddar cheese, 1 teaspoon of Stormcloak seasoning. The recipe for Stormcloak seasoning can be found on page 25 of this book, and we will go into further detail on Stormcloak seasoning itself later in the video. And finally, 1/2 cup of heavy cream.
We're going to begin by mincing up our small onion. Whoa, Nivea, what on earth are you doing?
I'm ready for Skyrim cooking. I have a cutting instrument, I've got a measuring cup, and I've got a helmet in case a dragon attacks.
Well, this onion is worthy of that battle axe because is starting to make me cry. Here, will you help me cut up some potatoes?
Sure.
To begin this recipe, we're going to start by melting 2 tablespoons of butter. And we're going to add in our minced onion. When the onion becomes translucent and fragrant, we'll be adding in our 2 tablespoons of flour to create a roux for the base of this soup. How are those potatoes coming?
Almost done.
All right. I'm going to incorporate that flour, and then we'll add in our 2 cups of chicken broth and our ½ cup of whole milk. That's looking so good. I'm going to stir it around for a minute, and then I'll be ready for those potatoes.
Okie dokie. Smells really good already.
It does. It smells really good. All right, Nivea, I'm ready for the potatoes.
All right, here you are.
Thank you. These potatoes will take about 15 minutes to cook.
So while she's doing that, why don't you follow me over to the other room, and I'll show you how to grind up that Stormcloak seasoning we talked about earlier. This seasoning blend is a custom spice blend that the author has created to try to bring to life some of the cultures from the game. The Stormcloaks are a group of people who hail from the land of Skyrim. So this blend is perfect for this soup. What you'll need for this blend is 2 teaspoons of dried dill, 1 teaspoon of mustard powder, 2 teaspoons of fennel seeds, and a ½ teaspoon of grains of paradise. Grains of paradise is a type of peppercorn that comes from a plant indigenous to the west coast of Africa. In Skyrim, you would probably have to import this ingredient from a land with a more tropical climate, like, say, Hammerfell. In real life, you can find grains of paradise in specialty grocery stores or online. But if you don't have this easily available, don't worry. You can just use regular black pepper instead. Now, also in Skyrim, they would probably use a mortar and pestle to mix this all up. But I prefer to use a coffee grinder. It makes life so much easier. All you have to do is pour everything in. And we've got our mustard powder, our fennel seeds, and our grains of paradise. Cover him up and give him a bite. Now, this seasoning is very versatile and goes well with meat or fish, vegetables. You can even use it in savory baking. So even if you're not a fan of this game, this is a great seasoning blend to have in your spice cabinet. All right, now we can go back to the kitchen.
All right, it's been 15 minutes and the potatoes have gotten nice and tender. The recipe tells us to use an immersion blender at this step to get a nice creamy consistency, but I prefer a chunkier texture, so I'm just going to use a potato masher.
I've got your seasonings here for you.
Thank you. The smell of fresh ground spices is delightfully yummy. I'm going to go ahead and stir this in really well.
That smells really good already.
The smell is amazing.
This is going to be great. All right, I think we're good. Let's add the cheese now.
Okay.
So the recipe calls for using ½ cup of shredded cheese, but we're going to add a little more because, you know, it's cheese.
It's cheese.
Wonderful! Time for a celebration! Cheese for everyone!
That looks great. I think definitely Cher Gorath would approve.
Finally, we're going to add in our heavy cream. We're adding enough to get the consistency that we like. Once the cream is warmed through, it's ready to plate up.
Excellent. Thank you. That is one hearty soup.
Finally, let's garnish it with some crumbled bacon. Hey Nivea, is there a bacon deity in Skyrim?
I don't think so, but, I'm pretty sure Cher Gorath would approve of that too. Well, thank you for that. Here you go.
Let's dig in.
Ooh, it's hot. That's definitely worth it.
This is the perfect hearty soup for a cool day.
We can tell that a lot of research went into this book, and the author did a great job of tying in everyday recipes like potato cheese soup into the culture of the game. The custom spice blends really bring Culture of Tamriel to life.
We recommend trying this book and would consider using it again for future recipes. Thank you so much for joining us in the kitchen today. We hope to see you again soon for more Geeks and Ladles recipe reviews.